Hello and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 2. I am Uyai Aneka and coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government to shut down third mainland bridge for one-day repair. Senate President Akpabio says EFCC engaged more in sensation than real investigation. Plus, Health Ministry says over 3,700 people killed in Gaza. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news this afternoon is a report that the federal government has announced that the third mainland bridge will be closed to traffic from Saturday, October 21st to Sunday, October 22nd, 2023 for repairs. The Federal Controller of Works Lagos, Engineer O.I. Kesha, who made this known in a statement, encouraged the motorists to use alternative routes during the period of the palliative works. Reports say motorists had cried out over the deplorable state of some portions of the bridge, which spans over 11.8 kilometers. The bridge reported to be the busiest in Nigeria alongside the Eko Bridge and the Kata Bridge, connect Victoria Island to the mainland Lagos, and has undergone several repairs in recent years. From the Red Chambers, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio has accused the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) of unprofessionalism, saying the anti-graft agency has engaged more in sensationalizing issues rather than carrying out rigorous investigation. Akpabio stated this during the confirmation of the newly appointed EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede and the Commission Secretary Mohammed Hamjoda. During plenary, Akpabio urged Olukoyede to operate differently away from his predecessors, adding that somewhere else people are invited to defend themselves after evidence of crime has been established against them. Meanwhile, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio has debunked insinuations of a brewing crisis in the upper legislative chamber, insisting that disagreement in the parliament was a normal phenomenon in any democratic setting. The clarification came following a reported shouting match unraveling a crisis between two gladiators, Akpabio and the Senate's Chief Whip Aline Dume, on the floor of the Senate chamber. Speaking with newsmen on the development after meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa Abuja, Senator Akpabio said the parliament is populated by only mature minds who are committed to working with the executive to move the country forward. The Senate President noted that he was in the State House to inform the President of the first 10th Assembly retreat, which is currently taking place today in Akwa Ibom State, to solicit his support toward ensuring representation at the retreat. Speaking about the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has directed the Federal Ministry of Education to stagger the takeoff of some of the federal tertiary institutions established by the previous administration. The Minister of Education, Dr. Maman Tahir, who disclosed this to journalists at the State House, Abuja, after meeting with President Tinubu, explained that the decision was based on some considerations, including funding. Tahir told journalists at the briefing that he visited the president to update him on developments in his ministry, including issues surrounding a stakeholders conference scheduled for today, appointments of heads of agencies and boards of tertiary institutions. Speaking on the plan for takeoff of the federal institutions established towards the end of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, Tahir said there are about 6 specialized institutions which focus on areas like education, agriculture, and medicine. Away from that, the Minister of Interior, Lubumi Tunji-Ojo, has said that over 4,000 inmates held in custodial centers across the country were unable to pay 100 million naira in fines. The minister said he had met with some private organizations to raise the money. Tunji Ojo assured that in the next 4 weeks, the fines will be cleared and the inmates will be released. He noted that the decongestion of the custodial centers is not the sole responsibility of the ministry, adding that he had discussed with the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi-San, to combat the issue of awaiting trial inmates. In the meantime, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has threatened to shut down illegal motor parks operating in the capital city, Abuja, over rising one-chance robbery in the city. The minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, made this known during a chat with journalists in his office in Abuja. Wike, while noting that there have been reported cases of one-chance robbery and kidnapping in Abuja for weeks, said a joint task force on cross-border crimes has been set up to tackle the security menace called one-chance robbery. The former governor of Rivers State also blamed the rising crime in the capital city on illegal motor parks and uncompleted buildings used as dens by criminals. In a separate development, in the wake of the court order given by election tribunals, the national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, Yagbagi Sani, has stated that Nigerians must hold the judicial system to account in the discharge of its responsibilities. Sani, who made this known during a live broadcast, said the judiciary, which has jurisdiction over disputes in federal government and states, needs to stand up and show that it fully supports democracy. The IPAC chair faulted the Electoral Act 2022, stating that the act has to be free from interference. He added that the nation would be put in confusion and an ambiguous direction if a straightforward law is not given to the electoral umpire. In another development, the Chairman Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Olanipekun Olukoyede, has said that Nigeria lost 2.9 trillion naira to contract and procurement scams between 2018 and 2020. Olukoyede told the Senate shortly before he was cleared that a survey he conducted on 50 individuals and corporate bodies revealed that the laws, while promising a paradigm shift by his leadership in the fight against corruption, he canvassed a review of the criminal justice system. The chairman said a review of the system would not only reduce the time spent on investigations and trials of suspects, but save the country from spending in that direction. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Correctional Service (NCOS) has dismissed 2 personnel and sanctioned 35 others for misconduct. This was contained in a statement by the Service Public Relations Officer, SPRO Abubakar Umar. Umar said the dismissal was part of efforts to ensure discipline among personnel and entrench international best practices. He noted that the officers were sanctioned for misconducts ranging from trafficking in contrabands, unauthorized absence from duty, stealing, negligence of duty, criminal conspiracy, as well as aiding and abetting. The SPRO added that the offences constitute a threat to security of correctional facilities and could jeopardize public safety and national security. Now to Africa, where Gabon's military leader, General Bright Nguema, has said that he is giving up his salary as president and will only receive a wage as commander of the Republican Guard. A junta spokesman, Ulrich Mafumbi, said the General Nguema took the decision because of his awareness of social emergencies and many expectations of the Gabonese people. Mafumbi noted that apart from renouncing his salary as president, Nguema also decided to reduce public spending by slashing the allowances for lawmakers, eliminating political funds, and cutting session allowances. Still in Africa, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky have affirmed their shared desire for a peaceful resolution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In a statement, the South African presidency noted that the two held talks at the request of the Ukrainian president. According to the state, Ramaphosa also committed his country's commitment to active engagement in the Africa Peace Initiative presented earlier this year by 7 African leaders as a possible basis for peace. He also committed to the participation of South Africa for talks in the peace formula outlined by Ukraine, which is held at the level of national security advisors. On the foreign scene, the health ministry in Gaza says at least 3,785 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7. It said among those killed, 1,524 were children, 1,000 were women, and 120 elderly, noting that a total of 12,493 have been injured. Still on the foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden has secured a deal with Egypt to deliver limited aid to Gaza to ease a humanitarian crisis amid the Israel-Hamas war. Visiting Tel Aviv, Biden said Israel had a right to hit back for the Hamas attack that triggered the fighting. The U.S. president noted that Israel had been badly victimized, but cautioned against being consumed by rage. He also added that a blast at a Gaza hospital was not caused by an Israeli airstrike. Still to come in the news. Brazil forward Nyema to have surgery after anterior cruciate ligament injury. Stay tuned for details of this and more after the break.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my Lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Every day marks a day of significance.
That in view of the apology tendered by this former minister who had earlier been cleared by this August Assembly,
as we face critical issues, developments and events which shape our social and political landscape here in Nigeria and beyond. Political Spectrum is a program specially designed to help make sense of all the moving parts of developments and occurrences in our nation's polity and political economy.
There is nothing wrong with Nigeria, but there's everything wrong. The educational history of public figures holds significance beyond mere biographical details.
From executive, legislative and judicial developments at national and subnational levels to international diplomacy and relations.
Join us for exclusive interviews with key political figures, expert opinions, analysts, thought-provoking conversations for and against, shedding light on the major issues that matter. We will always keep you updated on the most factual, smartest and unbiased reportage.
Stay tuned to Political Spectrum. Political Spectrum. All sides matter at the round table. Political Spectrum. Exclusive to Spectrum Television.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news stories. On our business news, the federal government, through the Rural Electrification Agency REA, in partnership with NG Energy Access Nigeria and a subsidiary of Cross Boundary Access, is set to bring clean and stable electricity to 15 rural communities spread across Nigeria. According to a press statement by REA, the public-private partnership agreement, which is a portfolio of mini-grids, will be constructed to connect hundreds of households and micro-businesses in underdeserved and unserved rural communities. The initiative, the agency said, reflects the commitment of President Tinubu's administration to enhance power supply and increase access to reliable electricity for the communities. Still in business, data from Brent Industry has revealed that the global benchmark for crude witnessed a surge in price, trading at about $93 per barrel after hovering around $87 per barrel last week. The data also revealed that Nigeria's oil earnings increased by 273.8 billion naira in September. It was also observed that other crude oil grades in the international market witnessed similar hikes in their various costs. Meanwhile, oil marketers said the gains from the rise in crude production and its price hike are being eroded by the federal government's quiet reintroduction of subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. In health, the Oyo State government has vowed to deal decisively with individuals who defecate in the open and indiscriminately dump refuse. The State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotun Oyelade, made this known at a two-day media dialogue on open defecation free in the southwest states held in Ibadan. He said the move to penalize open defecators and indiscriminate dumping of refuse was part of efforts aimed at achieving the national target of ending open defecation in Nigeria by 2027. Oyelade, who said the government before 2027 would ensure much improvement in the social menace and all other diseases plaguing the state, however, appealed to the residents to patronize government-approved waste consultants and stop the unhygienic practice of open defecation. Still in health, the Ogun State government has announced plans to chlorinate wells in some parts of the state following the outbreak of cholera in 3 different local government areas. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to Governor Dakwa Abiodun on Health, Dr. Tomi Koka noted that the state government alerted the residents of the state to the outbreak of cholera in the local government. Speaking of the cases recorded, the State Commissioner for Health revealed that a total of 217 cases have been recorded in the Ijebu North local government area, with additional cases surfacing in Abeokuta North and South local government area. Koka, who made this known during a stakeholders meeting in Abeokuta, added that the key to eliminating cholera is adopting a multi-sectoral strategy. Moving over now to sports, Brazil and Al Hilal forward Neymar will have surgery after rupturing his anterior cruciate ligament and meniscus in his left knee while on international duty. The 31-year-old was taken off on a stretcher in tears during the 2-0 defeat by Uruguay. He landed awkwardly after a challenge in the first half of the 2026 World Cup qualifier in Montevideo. Still in sports, Super Falcons duo Shamaka Nadozie and Christy Uchebe played pivotal roles at their clubs Paris FC and Benfica and a berth in the group stage of this season's UEFA Women's Champions League. Paris FC defeated last season's finalist Wolfsburg 2-0 in the second leg of their final qualifying round at the Oak Stadium. Nadozie saved Dominique Jensen's sports kick in the 61st minute, while Paris FC won the contest 5-3 on aggregate. Meanwhile, midfielder Christy Uchebe was on target in Portuguese champion Benfica 4-0 Rouge of Cyprus club Apollon. On our entertainment news, Flytime has announced a star-studded lineup for the 2023 Flytime Fest. Ahead of the annual fest, Flytime said the lineup includes celebrated superstars from Nigeria and abroad, including Davido, Ashake, Kiss Daniel, Roddy Ricch, Lil Durk, among others. The 4-day event, scheduled for the 21st through the 25th of December at the Echo Convention Center, is set to be one of the major highlights of Dirty December. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum Television News at 2. I am Uyai Anek, and thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.